And verses 71 through to 80 and a little bit beyond. I mean, to catch up properly, I don't want to go through too much some of the verses that we're currently doing on the Havamal, because say pretty much verses 85 and for a few verses they're just talking about samples. Odin's just talking about samples of things not to trust. But obviously from verses 72, going back to that, it's talking about how family can be your legacy. And that no one is likely to remember the loner or the outcast. Also, the thing about a death in a family is a death can really show the true nature of people. Not just friends, but family also. It's an experience. It's not altogether. No, it should never be a pleasant one. But some people really show their true sides when there's like a sniff of inheritance or something, or the chance to get their grubby mitts on the personal property of someone once they're no longer with us. It's quite a brutal truth, which is a shame on people who choose to act like that. It is unpleasant, and it truly is an eye-opener once you see that sort of nature exposed in the truth of a moment where entitlement drives someone to become overbearing, to respecting and communicating with other members of a family that would want to grieve and treat the property that is left behind by a member of the family in a way that honours the wishes of the person that's been lost, and is done in mediation or with the acceptance of family and friends that are around them that remain after the death. I mean, obviously, as you move through these verses, it's just that sort of Odin advising you that wealth is fickle, can't be trusted, it can be taken away. And then like the foolishness that can be had by having money or the love of a woman. The arrogance increases, but not common sense. And how easily you can be tricked by these fickle and false emotions that, or security, I think, really is just like you can feel like you are, I suppose, for a phrase, king of the castle. And if you're not cautious, which obviously, I mean, a lot of people say that the Havamal deals heavily in cynicism, that you should be guarded, and you should. It's finding the fine line between trust and caution, and how you deal with other people. And then sort of really, let's say you get to verse 81 and it starts talking about just all these examples of I suppose what is good in life or what is not to be trusted. Let's say praising the day once it is done, your wife once she is dead. That you, I mean, that's a little bit cynical for my liking. It's like you should not praise your wife until she's dead. No, mind you, that's quite cynical. But a lot of the other examples, and there are examples, there's a lot of sage advice, sound wisdom. Yeah. And then, let's say you just get to that section where it's just examples, and if you was going to be critical, you might almost say they're verse fillers. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's kind of a strange section in the Havamal. But again, I think it's one of those things that it's important that you take from it what you need to and consider the wisdom. I say, I think for me, one of the things on my journey that I have found or feel, that's the thing, I should say, I feel is more important is one thing to be guided by the Havamal, and it is full of really good wisdom, but I think Odin also wants you to think for yourself and to be as true as you can be for yourself and your kin, and to make your deeds count. I think it's the probably the toughest line to define, which is to follow Odin's wisdom, but to think for yourself, and that it's in that sort of crux that you can earn Odin's respect in the right way, which obviously none of us here in the now, the present, the mortal world, Earth, Midgard, that's not for us to define. It's for us to take with us when our time comes to an end, I think. Will you, when your time comes, when we travel beyond life, will you be able to stand true and unashamed in front of the gods? And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I don't think it's enough to just say, well, I followed the guidance of the Havamal to the word. It's a case of I followed the guidance of the Havamal and I applied it as often as I could, and that I am unashamed of taking some chances. It's a very fine line that's there to be, I don't know, perhaps at the heart of it. They're just my thoughts. You may disagree with me. That is entirely your privilege, and you can do. This is my journey. You have your journey, and it's for all of us to explore that journey as best we can. So the Havamal will continue going into the next week. I'm not sure what's quite going to happen over Yule. We will have to wait and see. I will continue to do content because it's, once you start doing it, it becomes kind of, I don't know, a part of your routine. So I hope you like it. I'll see you soon. Stay good. Love you all. Thank you. Bye.